Understanding Meta's delayed AI launch, insights and implications. Meta Platforms has decided to delay the public release of its most ambitious artificial intelligence model yet, Llama 4 Behemoth. Initially expected to debut at Meta's first ever AI developer conference in April, the model's launch was pushed to June and is now delayed until fall or possibly even later. Sanchit Gogia, chief analyst and CEO at Greyhound Research, interprets this not as a standalone setback, but as a reflection of a broader shift, from brute force scaling to controlled, adaptable AI models. He said that while Meta has not officially disclosed a reason for the delay, the reported mention of capacity constraints points to larger pressures around infrastructure, usability, and practical deployment. Meta's Behemoth delay aligns with a market that is actively shifting from scale-first strategies to deployment-first priorities, Gogia added. Controlled Open LLMs and SLMs are central to this reorientation, and to what we believe is the future of trustworthy enterprise AI. Gogia noted that the situation reignites a vital industry dialogue. Is bigger still better? Increasingly, enterprise buyers are leaning toward SLMs, small language models, and controlled open LLMs, which offer better governance, easier integration, and clearer ROI compared to gargantuan foundation models that demand complex infrastructure and longer implementation cycles. Enterprises are moving away from chasing the biggest models in favor of those that offer tighter control, compliance readiness, and explainability. Gogia pointed out that usability, governance, and real-world readiness are becoming central filters in AI procurement, especially in regulated sectors like finance, healthcare, and government. As quoted in computerworld.com, in an article authored by Gyana Swain published on May 16, 2025. Beyond the media quote, our view in full. Press for time? You can focus solely on the Greyhound flashpoints that follow. Each one distills the full analysis into a sharp, executive-ready takeaway, combining our official standpoint, validated through Pulse data from ongoing CXO trackers, and grounded in field notes from real-world advisory engagements. Meta's Behemoth delay reflects a strategic pivot point in LLM scaling. Greyhound Flashpoint. Meta has not formally disclosed the reasons behind Behemoth's delay, but cited capacity constraints offer a window into larger market pressures. Greyhound Research views this not as an isolated delay, but as a reflection of a broader shift, from brute force scaling to controlled, adaptable AI models. According to Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025, 54% of enterprise technology leaders report diminishing value from raw parameter increases and instead prioritize models that are explainable, governable, and cost-aware. Greyhound standpoint. According to Greyhound Research, the Behemoth delay marks a broader recalibration occurring across the AI ecosystem. While large models remain essential for frontier research, enterprises are looking for something different: agility, auditability, and accountability. The future is likely to be shaped not by open access alone, but by controlled open LLMs, a term Greyhound Research has coined and owns proudly. These models combine transparency with curated governance, fine-tuning rights, and domain-specific adaptability. Alongside this, small language models, SLMs, are rising in prominence as cost-effective, edge-deployable options that meet operational constraints without compromising utility. Meta's leadership in open-source AI can remain highly relevant if it embraces these parallel trends as part of its roadmap. Greyhound Pulse. Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025 reveals that 67% of AI leaders in North America and Europe are actively shifting away from models that require concentrated compute and closed-loop fine-tuning. Instead, 61% now favor SLMs with controlled retrainability, particularly in sectors like logistics, telecom, and financial services, where uptime, security, and responsiveness are essential. These leaders see value in models that are small enough to govern, but smart enough to serve. Greyhound Field Notes. In a recent Greyhound Field Note, a Southeast Asian telecom major paused deployment of a large open-source LLM after its operational footprint exceeded their latency and compliance thresholds. The firm transitioned to a smaller, instruction-tuned model trained on local language corpora and exposed via governed APIs. This experience echoes a growing enterprise reality. Models must now fit into operational architecture, not the other way around. From behemoths to balance, rethinking the value of model scale. Greyhound Flashpoint. Meta's delay of Behemoth reignites a vital industry dialogue. Is bigger still better? Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025 finds that 58% of enterprise AI leads now favor SLMs and controlled open LLMs over extremely large foundation models. This doesn't negate the value of scale, but it elevates usability, governance, and real-world readiness as core strategic filters. Greyhound standpoint. According to Greyhound Research, while Behemoth-scale models remain foundational for advancing AI capabilities, their practical deployment in enterprise environments requires rethinking. What we're seeing is a shift from open but unbounded models to open but structured frameworks, where openness is married to safety, lineage, and customizability. Controlled Open LLMs, a term coined and championed by Greyhound Research, represent this evolution. At the same time, SLMs are proving more deployable in real-world environments where cost, latency, and control matter most. Meta's opportunity lies not in pulling back from ambition, but in widening its aperture to include these deployment-centric pathways. Greyhound Pulse. In Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025, 44% of CTOs from sectors like BFSI, pharma, and industrials reported that large, open-source models are increasingly difficult to operationalize at scale. Meanwhile, 61% are experimenting with SLMs that offer faster fine-tuning cycles and improved regulatory fit. Among these, models operating within the Controlled Open LLM framework are emerging as the preferred compromise between innovation and accountability. Greyhound Field Notes. A recent Greyhound Field Note from a European energy utility captured this trade-off. A high-performing open LLM was pulled from production trials due to lineage opacity and unclear retraining rights. The organization instead opted for a smaller model with co-governed tuning workflows and regional language integration. This approach not only passed internal audits, but also accelerated product rollout, a scenario increasingly common among enterprise AI buyers. Meta's next frontier lies in governance-ready, enterprise-adaptable AI models. Greyhound standpoint. According to Greyhound Research, we are entering a phase of operational maturity in enterprise AI. While frontier-scale models will continue to drive discovery, the models that win enterprise adoption will be those that prioritize stewardship, not just scale. Controlled Open LLMs, a term we've coined to describe this new direction, offer the governance backbone enterprises need: legal retraining clarity, risk-aware data practices, and customizable model transparency. Similarly, small language models provide a powerful complement: cost-effective, fine-tuned, and ready for use in bandwidth-limited or compliance-heavy environments. For Meta, aligning Behemoth with this emerging dual pathway, controlled and compact, could unlock broader, more sustainable adoption. Greyhound Pulse. CIO Pulse 2025 shows that 68% of AI decision-makers at mid-market firms now value the ability to own model outputs via clear tuning protocols and audit trails over simply deploying state-of-the-art architectures. Among these, 52% have already begun experimenting with SLMs for internal use cases, often combining them with frameworks that follow controlled open LLM principles. Greyhound Field Notes. A pharmaceutical enterprise in India, as documented in a recent Greyhound Field Note, initially piloted a leading-edge open-source model. However, internal governance flagged gaps in explainability, and there were concerns over retraining sovereignty. The project was rescoped using a regional SLM co-developed with a local academic lab, embedded with attribution tracking and fine-tuning controls. The revised model cleared legal gates and is now in live deployment, demonstrating that flexibility and control now carry as much weight as scale and novelty. Analyst in focus. Sanchit Gogia. Sanchit Gogia, or SVG as he is popularly known, is a globally recognized technology analyst, innovation strategist, digital consultant, and board advisor. SVG is the chief analyst, founder and CEO of Greyhound Research, a global, award-winning technology research, advisory, consulting, and education firm. Greyhound Research works closely with global organizations, their CXOs, and the board of directors on technology and digital transformation decisions. SVG is also the founder and CEO of the House of Greyhound, an eclectic venture focusing on interdisciplinary innovation. Copyright policy. All content contained on the Greyhound Research website is protected by copyright law and may not be reproduced, distributed, transmitted, displayed, published, or broadcast without the prior written permission of Greyhound Research or, in the case of third-party materials, the prior written consent of the copyright owner of that content. You may not alter, delete, obscure, or conceal any trademark, copyright, or other notice appearing in any Greyhound Research content. We request our readers not to copy Greyhound Research content and not republish or redistribute them, in whole or partially, via emails or republishing them in any media, including websites, newsletters, or intranets. We understand that you may want to share this content with others, so we've added tools under each content piece that allow you to share the content. If you have any questions, please get in touch with our community relations team at connect@thoffer.com.